Alright guys, I'm going to make a quick video on a chapter in my book, one of my books, Info Every Dog Trainer Should Know. So the chapter is going to be on how to choose the right dog training school. Now, dog training schools have quite an appeal to them because any profession out there, any specialty out there, there are two ways to learn them. One way is to get on the field and just learn hands-on, learn through the mistakes that you make, which that's inevitable. That is part of the learning process. And just kind of learn on the job and get better as the years go by. That's one approach. The other approach is to go to a school, a specialty school, that has a curriculum designed to bring you from whatever level of skill that you're in to a more proficient level of skill, enough to be able to give you the skills and the tools to help you be a dog trainer. Now, talking a little bit about dog training schools, I've gone to a couple of dog training schools myself, and I've gone to a bunch of seminars and presentations and conferences, and I've read a lot of books. But my formal education per se, if we wanted to call it formal education, came from two dog training schools, very in-depth. Now, from my experience, dog training schools, to me, I think to me that's the better way to go about it. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I got started through a dog training school. That's how I got my foot in the door. And the reason why I feel dog training schools are very helpful is because they feed you a curriculum. There is no guesswork. But the point is, you get fed a curriculum. They tell you exactly how to start. At least they should. Not every dog training school is the same way. But they give you a specific pattern of learning where they tell you, this is how you do it. Now we're going to show you how to do it. Now you're going to do it. And then you progress and you build on that. And that's how it is, step by step by step. Ideally, that's how it is. Now, do you need to go to a dog training school? Your experience might tell you otherwise. You might be one of those people that don't like dog training schools. I've talked to a lot of people that don't. Typically, some of these people, interestingly enough, have never been to a dog training school. So they are speaking just out of their ass, with all due respect. But you know, they resonate more with the way they learned it, which is, you know, through experience, through, you know, watching people and apprenticing. And if that worked for them, hey, I'm very happy with that. What I like about schools myself, obviously I'm being pretty biased too. I'm not going to tell you that learning hands-on or learning through an apprenticeship is bad, because I didn't learn it that way. So I don't know. I see some limitations. The main limitation that I see out of that, just from my limited experience, you know, learning it that way, one of the main limitations is when you go through an apprenticeship, you're learning from one person who learned it a certain way. And that might be good, or it might not be that good, depending on who you're shadowing. If this person is good, is a good technician, but they lack some of the psychological knowledge that goes behind dog training, that might not be all that great. It might be good because you're going to be learning to be a good technician, just like this guy, right? That you're shadowing or that you are working for. Mechanics wise, this person might be excellent, but this person might be a little bit deficient in the knowledge behind learning theory, which is actually huge in dog training. And unfortunately, there's a big gap when it comes to that type of knowledge in dog training. A lot of dog trainers understand mechanics and how to do X, Y, and Z, but a lot of dog trainers don't understand why, or they don't understand the concept behind why it works that way. So if you shadow the right person, if you shadow the right people, it might be an excellent way to do it. But how do you know if you're early in your career? How do you know who's good and who's not? This is something you start to gain the ability to discern as you gain experience. Naturally, we're talking about how to get started and how to learn. So you are not always able to be a good judge of what is good and what isn't. You just kind of go, wow, everything is so new to me. I'm not trying to sell you on any schools whatsoever. Even the place I go to, that I went to, it's just a school. There are disadvantages as well, right? So that's just a little bit of a background on dog training schools versus learning it, through apprenticeships or through experience. Learning it through experience, you mean, through the school of hard knocks. You have to realize too, it takes years and years of mistakes to work on a technique, especially if you don't have a whole lot of guidance. You have to be very careful about that too. You don't want to just go, I'm just going to learn and go out there and learn and figure it out on my own. Every time that you're learning or you're practicing a specific skill, every time that you do it wrong, you're not just talking about learning through mistakes. You're also rehearsing bad mechanics. You're also rehearsing poor technique. I call the schools. A lot of people don't like to do that, but I like to call the schools. I will call them, and I ask to speak to the instructors, and I did that every single time. It never hurts to ask. All right, so I will call the instructors. I will ask them questions. And another thing that you can do too is you can ask the school for a list of graduates, people that have gone to the school, and ask for their contact information. So the school I went to, that's one of the things I did. I contacted people that had gone to that school, and I emailed them, right? And if you can call them and ask them what their experience was. Don't just ask one person, because you don't know who you might get, right? If you get a list of graduates and you call one person, and that person had a really, really negative outlook and they were very pessimistic, you call them, you tell them, hey, how was this school? And they already have bad memories about the school. They're gonna give you a review that might not be the most fair. Also, you might call somebody who was an optimist like me, right? And you call the graduate, they tell you, hey man, it was awesome, it's the best school in the world. You're also, again, getting sort of biased information here. So I want to talk to a few people that have gone to the school. The more the better, because I'm gonna get a bunch of different feedback from different people, different perspectives on that school. So I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna find out about the school as much as I can from different perspectives, and then I'm going to make up my own mind, right? I don't want to go to the school and expect surprises. I don't want to be surprised when I go to the school. I want to have an idea of what I'm getting into. And some of the things that I experience as an instructor is, sometimes we have students that come to the school and they don't quite know what to expect. They have the wrong idea. They had the wrong expectation, and then they realize, wow, this is way more work than I signed up for. Or they expect to come to school and just play with dogs and puppies all day long and then check out at 5 and then show up the next morning at 9. Definitely is not that way. And a lot of them get a little bit of a shock when we tell them, hey, you have to train after school. Hey, you have to train on the weekends. Hey, you might even have to sacrifice some sleep, because it is hard work. It is a time where you're learning a lot, but you also have to practice what you learn. So schools are a lot more than just showing up and playing with puppies. A huge factor to consider about a dog training school is you're gonna have to pay, right? Whereas an apprenticeship, you're probably not gonna have to pay. You might just spend some time working for free, or some apprenticeships might even pay you. So it depends on the setup of the company that you're shadowing or apprenticing under. This is that they are expensive. First dog training school I went to, I had to get a loan, a pretty hefty loan, to go to that school. Second school I went to, they took the GI Bill, they took VA benefits. So I was able to use my VA benefits to go to that school. But not every school takes VA benefits. Some schools don't. So in essence, it goes back to research, asking yourself a few questions, be willing to put in the work, and be willing to take out a loan if that's necessary. So again, that's in my book, Info Every Dog Trainer Should Know. You can find it on Amazon. And if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.